we here at Head in the Office have a big announcement to make.
Super extra special announcement coming at you guys for the holiday season.
Your favorite podcast of all time, better than Chapo Trap House, better than Pod Save America. We have an announcement to make. It's our first official Head in the Office NFT collection.
NFT trading card collection. It's
That's
just
right.
like baseball cards, just like football cards, except it's better because it's over the internet and you can't touch it.
And here's one of the best parts. It comes with an automatic chance to win a special prize. Like a meeting with us, a one-on-one meeting.
A meeting with us.
Feet pics exclusively from me and Gage.
Exactly.
A tour of the studio.
Toes scrunched and all.
They're only $99 each.
Toes flayed.
You can get your NFT right now on HITO or headintheoffice.com.
Toes in socks.
Toes in socks, toes out of socks, whatever you want, we got the hookup.
NFTs for the low, low price of $99.99.
And all I gotta say is that they make the perfect gift. Christmas is coming up. You can buy it with crypto. You can buy it with cold hard cash to put in my pocket.
Imagine Santa drops under your tree because we say Merry Christmas on this podcast. Imagine if Santa drops under your tree a couple HITO NFTs.
That's what I'm saying.
It rhymes just like the Christmas thing.
Get your Head in the Office NFT right now at headintheoffice.com.
If you go to patreon.com/headintheoffice.
Nah, but unironically, that Trump NFT shit is so funny, dog. I can't believe he was hyping up this like big announcement for so long, just to not for so long, but for like at least a week, and just to say like, oh, it's NFTs,
just to announce the sloppiestly photoshopped NFTs that you've ever seen, just to announce Trump's face just slapped onto a random body ass NFTs that you've ever seen.
And I think someone in our Discord pointed out that at least some of them are just stock photos that they reworked to put Trump's head on, and then they're repurposing to use them as NFTs. I must say, pretty cost efficient.
For $99 each. Like some staffer, some intern did this in an hour. He made all of them in an hour, if that.
Again, cost efficient. And I did hear that they all got bought. Like they're sold out now.
Bro's a bag chaser. And I guess they were $99 each.
I don't know how many they were selling, but they came with pretty awesome prizes, like a one-on-one meeting with Donald Trump.
Exactly.
He said, I don't know if that's a good prize, but that's what we got.
Dude, last week when we were talking about, like, you know, how you guys should give us buku bucks so we can support ourselves off the pod, and so that maybe one day we could buy Twitter Blue, buy the blue check mark as just a bit. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get to the point where we can buy Trump NFTs as a bit.
Exactly.
$99 for an opportunity to win a dinner with Trump. Imagine if we won.
That would be great.
Imagine if we won a one-on-one Zoom.
We would be a national security risk. They would not allow us to come to Mar-a-Lago. Absolutely not.
I mean, if they let Nick Fuentes in.
That's fair.
They let Nick Fuentes in.
Well, Nick Fuentes is one of them. You know what I mean? He's one of them.
He's part of the in-group.
One of those people.
I'm worse as a radical socialist.
That's right. Welcome back to Head in the Office, everybody.
Welcome back to the show.
We've got quite a show ready for you guys. The week was the news week was kind of weird this week, I will say.
Yeah.
The news was kind of all over the place. As you'll see, we got to talk about Kevin McCarthy a little bit.
Love that.
We got to talk about some Republicans just openly calling for like war.
Sick.
Within the country, by the way.
I love that. A war of the civil variety, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. We got to talk about Elon Musk a little bit because he had a complete meltdown over the last few days.
Takes after takes on this guy.
And we got to talk about a
little bit of
vaccines
Florida vaccine update.
That's right. That's right. But before we get into it, I'm going to remind you all that next week, our next episode is going to be the Head in the Office award show. The nomination form, by the time this episode drops, will have closed, but voting begins on the day that this episode airs. So all of you can check out the link in the description of the show. It'll be in our link tree. We'll post it everywhere. Make sure you go and cast your vote for all the categories that are available.
Worst state of the year. Worst overall person of the year.
Worst Democrat, worst Republican.
Craziest headline of the year.
And there's some crazy ones.
All of these things.
Yeah, there's a lot to vote for. Vote for your favorite episode of Head in the Office. It'll all be there, so go and check it out. And we got so much more planned for the award show. So we'll give out those awards, and we got some more stuff on the chopping block, if you will.
Yes.
And you all can experience that next week. So very exciting. Our final episode of the year.
I know. Gotta end it with a bang.
That's a whole year of Head in the Office for you all. So very excited about that. So check that out. But as always, check out the Patreon, TikTok, Instagram. You could buy some merch at headintheoffice.com. I do know that all of our merch is back in stock now. I've been meaning to say that for like 2 weeks. And it would have been nice to say that beforehand so y'all could have ordered it maybe for a Christmas present. Who knows? But that's not an option at this point because it probably won't arrive in time.
Belated.
Yeah, exactly.
All those January birthdays, you know?
January birthdays. Maybe you can give someone a New Year's present.
Oh, maybe you could just give someone a present.
Yeah.
Because that's what the holidays are about.
Why do you need an event to give someone a present?
Giving people presents.
And giving us money. That's what it's all about. But also, if you want to help out the show, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple. As always, we got 3 big old reviews that we need to read today.
Oh, yeah.
From our very loyal fans. The first one is from the Oregon Pirate.
Ooh.
Subject line, the only podcast I listen to. These dudes by far are the most entertaining podcasters. I wait for the next podcast like an addict waiting for their fix. I'd become a patron if I wasn't such a broke college student. Glad to have my favorite podcast coming from my hometown.
Hey, yo.
We'll never stop watching. Moving on to our next review. Subject line, This Millennial Loves HITO by Meryl Knight. Meryl Knight says, Gage and Jeremy are somehow able to find humor in the train wreck that is our political climate, railing on the right while criticizing the left when they need it. That's true. Very true. Very true. I'm an older millennial college professor, so my students are around the same age as the host. You're a professor listening to us?
Doctor.
Are you incorporating it into the curriculum?
No way.
You putting us into the syllabus? A link to the show.
A fucking weekly listening assignment? What's going on here?
So today we are going to be listening to and critiquing this episode of Head in the Office. I have no critiques to offer.
All right, guys. So for your homework today, I need you to go home and listen to episode 68 of Head in the Office, and then tell me what you think about the material. Synthesize a 500-word paper, and then I'm going to need you to write 1 discussion post and respond to at least 2 based on their takes on the recent episode of HITO.
Since I'm discouraged from having political conversations with my students, eyes shift side to side. This podcast gives me a little bit of insight into how their generation thinks about U.S. politics. I recommend it to them whenever I can because we should all be listening to younger generations. I hope more people discover Head in the Office because it's great.
Me too.
This is a podcast that gives you insight into how young people think. I don't know if we're representative. I would like to think so, but I doubt it.
I know a lot of fucking people that I gotta water my takes down for.
Yeah, I know a lot of people I got fucking beef with.
God, there's a lot of people I hate.
Moving on to our last review here. This one was actually DM'd to us on Instagram.
Which is a thing you can do.
Which is a thing you can do.
Sometimes the reviews fuck up.
He said he watched on YouTube, so he couldn't leave a review on Apple or Spotify. Spotify doesn't let you
So
leave
all you Spotify listeners.
Exactly.
Absolutely no excuse.
That's what I'm saying. This one's from John Cook. He said, I've been listening to these guys for a few months now. I love this podcast for many reasons, but I'll quickly rate a couple. Number 1, I love that I found a startup left podcast with guys around my age. I love other liberal podcasts, but it is so nice to hear humor that is similar to mine and 2 dudes working through college. Our generation doesn't have a lot of voices. It's nice to finally hear. Number 2. For a relatively new show and growing audience, it's well thought out and well produced. They clearly have done their research, have well-informed arguments, and solid discussions around these topics. Number 3, even with how much I'm on the internet around politics, they pick up on good and important stuff I don't always see, and I always learn something new. I always look forward to Wednesday to watch the show. 5 out of 5 stars.
I always look forward to being more chronically online than you all.
True. That is true.
That's the thing here.
You know, sometimes I feel bad about it because, like, we're going to get to the Elon Musk news later on in the show, but I was just watching as that happened. It was last night for us. Elon Musk was just melting down on Twitter, being the most insecure human being on the face of the planet. And I felt good about it.
He essentially posted, he essentially went around asking, like, guys, do you like me?
Yeah.
Do you like me?
He basically said, like this post for a rate in TBH. You know what I'm saying?
But he's in like college.
Yeah,
did that. It's not like middle school.
Yeah, no, he did it, and it was like not age appropriate anymore.
Exactly.
Like we've moved past this. You know?
Like this was a while ago. Let's leave this in 2013.
But we gotta talk about the House of Representatives first.
True.
Jumping right into our news coverage, we often focus on the Senate around these parts because the Senate is, at least in recent. Like the last year, 2 years or so, the Senate's been absolutely unhinged.
Incredibly out of pocket.
Very out of pocket, and has been kind of the main obstacle to governing democratically.
Yeah.
But that may change pretty soon.
Looks like it's going to change.
Looks like
the balance of power shifts.
That's right. Because we got to talk about the House of Representatives, you know, the left nut to the Senate's right nut. The duality of our government.
Real.
The second part of Congress, and we got to talk about 2 figures specifically.
Okay.
One of them, Marjorie Taylor Greene, friend of the show.
Love her.
And the second one is Kevin McCarthy.
Good guy.
Great guy, and one who was in a position that is kind of not great right now.
A precarious one.
He's in a very precarious situation. So on January 3rd, the new members of the House are going to be inaugurated into their new positions that they were elected for, and there will be a floor vote to see who the next speaker is. Now, right now, the GOP has a House majority, but it's very slim, 222 to 213, which I think is almost exactly what the Democrats have at the moment, if not a little bit different. But it's basically like the same majority,
like
so very small.
It flipped.
Now, Kevin McCarthy has a bit of a problem because you need 218 votes, which is a strict majority in the House, to win the speaker seat. But because Kevin McCarthy has pushed back against Donald Trump and various Republicans, very timidly, I will add, not hard at all.
Barely.
But he's done it just a smidgen. Because he's done that, some further right people in the party don't want to vote for Kevin McCarthy. And when you have such a slim majority and you need to get to 218 and you can only afford to lose about 4 votes, that's not great news for him.
Fuck yeah.
And the House can't move on with any business until they elect a speaker. So starting on January 3rd, if they don't figure this whole debacle out before then, they might just be stuck.
That's so fun because, like, who else do they nominate?
Exactly.
Who do they nominate that's even more far right that, like, I don't know, the 3 moderate Republicans will vote for?
And now there's a growing resistance group within the GOP right now, the GOP House members.
Yeah.
You want to know what they've called themselves?
No.
The Never Kevin Caucus.
No.
I know you said you didn't want to hear it, but they are the Never Kevin Caucus. That's what they've called themselves. Pretty gas, right? Never Kevin.
Dog, they're running out of juice. Yeah. They're running out of juice. The acronyms, the Stop Woke Act, that was gas. Like, it's corny, but it's gas in a certain way.
They're just doing like the greatest hits over and over. I wonder if they just run out of creativity at some point.
Because it's like Never Trumpers. That's got a ring to it. But Never Kevin?
Never Kevins.
Never Kevins.
Never Kevins. So these Never Kevins, they're composed right now of 5 members publicly. They say they have more members waiting in the wings, but they say publicly it's 5 people. It's Andy Biggs of Arizona, Matt Gaetz of Florida.
Known sex trafficker, Matt Gaetz.
Good person to associate yourself with. Bob Good of Virginia, Matt Rosendale of Montana, and Ralph Norman of South Carolina. A lot of these guys are like nobodies. We never talk about these people.
Bob Bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
God.
They're all trying to get Andy Biggs from Arizona elected as Speaker over Kevin McCarthy. And again, these 5 say they have more people waiting to vote against Kevin McCarthy if they need to. But if they don't vote for
that's
Kevin,
all they need.
That's all they need. If these 5 hold out and none of the Democrats vote for Kevin McCarthy, and why would they? They have no electoral incentive to do so. Then there is no Speaker and the House can't do anything.
I love it.
Isn't that crazy? Like, they're just completely
I fucking
wild.
love it.
These few holdouts are just threatening everything the House might be able to do. Not that it's going to be much
progress legislatively that can happen, because it all has to move through the House eventually.
Yeah, I mean, not that it's really gonna not that much legislative progress is going to happen over the next 2 years.
Going to happen.
But it is funny to see, Republicans get a majority, and as soon as they do, the person who you would assume is going to be the leader in the House just can't get it together.
The guy who's done a fine job from the Republican point of view for like the last few years,
who's he just kind of listens to whatever they tell him to do.
He
doesn't really draw any lines in the sand except like maybe twice, and that wasn't even publicly. Like that one time, you remember when he had like that phone call with Mitch McConnell, he's like, Trump's got to go. Like that's the only thing I can really think of where he's like actually kind of pushed back against Donald Trump and the crazies. And I guess he, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, he made her go to like the Holocaust Museum as a field trip assignment because she was speaking at a Nazi event.
He gave her detention at the Holocaust Museum. Just
only after
slap on the wrist.
Only after public pressure, mind you. Like he didn't do that on his own accord. But you may notice within this Never Kevin movement, they're missing some notable figures. That's 1, Jim Jordan. And 2, Marjorie Taylor Greene is not a part of them. Now, Jim Jordan, I think, is not opposed to Kevin McCarthy taking over as Speaker because as soon as Kevin McCarthy gets it, Jim Jordan's been promised to be the chair of the Judiciary Committee, which means he can do all kinds of fun stuff to investigate, people like Hunter Biden.
I'm actually pro that.
Yeah, no, I'm 100%.
I'm 100% pro that.
And Marjorie Taylor Greene is a little bit different. I'm not so sure why she's backing Kevin McCarthy here. You would think that she would join her fellow colleagues like Matt Gaetz.
Maybe he'll give her a committee assignment back. Well, wasn't she stripped of all her committee assignments?
She's been promised all of her committee assignments back if Kevin McCarthy gets it.
She really wants those committees.
But I would think that she's going to get that anyway, regardless of who.
Like a Republican-controlled House.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if Andy Biggs is elected as Speaker, I would think that she gets it back anyway, because obviously the Never Kevins are going to be fucking crazier than the pro Kevins.
For sure.
The 4 Kevins, I guess. But like, I don't know what's holding her back here, other than I guess she just wants to like get a move on with stuff. Doesn't want to cause a ruckus. Wants to get to work ruining people's lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. For sure.
Yeah. And my question here is, if it's not Kevin McCarthy, who's it going to be? Because because there are like, we talk about how crazy the Republican Party has gotten, but there are certainly Republicans in the House that are more moderate.
Yeah.
And they don't want to elect someone that is perceived to be more, further right wing than Kevin McCarthy is. And I don't think they can get a majority behind Andy Biggs. So I don't know who it's going to be. Like, there's a universe that you can imagine here where moderate Republicans link up with the Democratic Party in some way to elect someone that's like super duper moderate, like in the House. You know what I mean? Like the most moderate Republican you can find.
Type of guy.
Yeah, like I don't know, like a John McCain type Republican. You know what I mean? Like the most watered down, moderate, quote unquote, Republican that you can find. That isn't Kevin McCarthy and isn't anyone from this Never Kevin movement. I don't know though. So I guess we'll see.
I don't know any of them. It's just all. It's so new to me. It's so wild.
Yeah, I can't imagine that.
It's my first time.
I can't imagine that the Never Kevins are even gonna be successful here. But I guess we'll see. Because there are some people on the fence about Kevin McCarthy getting elected as speaker, and some of them have been saying, like, okay, I'll vote for Kevin, but we want the opportunity for any member of the House at any time to call a vote to vacate the speaker's position, which would mean that dude can just get fired whenever.
Yeah.
Which would be wild.
That'd be kind of sick. I'm actually pro. I had seen people drop this take a couple months ago. I'm pro Nancy Pelosi being speaker again just for the bit.
Oh, that would be fun.
Just for the bit. Like, if we could get a couple Republicans to vote for her, that'd be so fucking funny.
Then literally nothing could happen.
Yeah.
Like, nothing could... Because, like, she would control, like, the flow of bills coming to the floor. Nothing would ever happen in the House of Representatives. Because anytime she, like, puts a bill up for a vote, like, nobody would vote for it.
Oh, no, absolutely
She couldn't get a majority for anything. That'd be a good time.
They just have to get, like, what, 3 moderates?
Yeah, something like that.
They're 5, because 213 to 222.
Yeah, you gotta get
like 5 moderate Republicans who are like, yeah, I'd vote for Nancy Pelosi again.
Like, that's crazy.
That's
like
a hard ask.
You can imagine that happens, and you can also imagine, you know, say Kevin McCarthy eventually gets it, a lot of votes might just come down to who's there, you know? Because, like, people are absent all the time.
Yeah, motherfuckers get sick.
If they're not, people get sick, people die. Republican Party, both of them have very old people in their parties.
They could literally drop dead any fucking minute now.
And a lot of votes might come down to just, like, who's president.
Who died.
That'd be crazy if, like, you know, a couple of them just happen to die. And then the speakership changes hands, Democrats get control. That would be wild.
Maybe they have a wild New Year's Eve and just kick the bucket before January 3rd and can't make the vote.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Then bam, Nancy speaker again.
We got pure chaos in the House. And you may be asking, where does Marjorie Taylor Greene come in then? Because you said that she's the other component of this Kevin McCarthy drama right now. Well, last Saturday, there was a Young Republicans conference.
That's so fucking corny.
And I haven't even gotten into the story yet.
That's the most bitchless shit that I have ever heard.
Oh, goodness.
A Young Republicans conference. Imagine
in New York, no less.
No, imagine spending money to go to that.
Yeah, no, they did.
Oh my God, it's Comic-Con for people who get less pussy.
You want to know who are the featured speakers there?
No.
I have a small list of the speakers right here. This isn't all of them, but we got Rudy Giuliani. We got Don Jr. We got Jack, you know Jack Posobiec? He's an actual Nazi.
Kind of, yeah.
He's a poster. We got James O'Keefe from Project Veritas.
Oh my God.
And of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene at the Young Republicans conference in New York.
They're like fans of them.
Yeah.
They're like fans too. Imagine getting geeked to see Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani, can you sign my hair dye?
They're really just doing like, that's a deep cut.
That's what I'm here for.
That is a deep cut. I wonder who's going to understand that joke. They're really just doing Klan meetings out in the public now. That's crazy.
It's not even that. It's the fucking Young Republicans. Like, I can't imagine being 18 years old and thinking, God, dude, I'm pumped. I'm pumped to go to it's like the NRA conference.
Yeah. At least, it's one thing to be a young person going to, like, I don't know, if there was like a version of like Young Democrats or something. Like, that's corny enough.
That's corny. Yeah, no, that's already bad.
But at least you're on the right track. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're young, you're getting there.
You want to do some good.
Exactly.
You don't understand, like, the horrors of the liberal machine yet.
But Young Republicans?
No.
There was, I mentioned speakers. There was a couple of quotes that were especially relevant to the House of Representatives, Kevin McCarthy, and also just like democracy in general.
Okay.
We had Gavin Wax, who's the president of the New York Young Republicans. He said, quote, "We want to cross the Rubicon. We want total war. We must be prepared to do battle in every arena, in the media, in the courtroom, at the ballot box, and in the streets. This is the only language the left understands, the language of pure and unadulterated power." So here we have Young Republicans president calling for actual war in the streets.
Sick.
That's fun, isn't it?
Sick. What a fucking nerd.
I don't know what a group called the Young Republicans is going to do in a war, but good luck, brothers. Good luck. But we also had a banger quote from Marjorie Taylor Greene. Okay. She said, quote, January 6th happened, and the next thing you know, I organized the whole thing along with Steve Bannon here. She's saying like she was accused of organizing the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
And then she went on, I will tell you something. If Steve Bannon and I had organized that, we would have won. Not to mention, we would have been armed. And then she goes on and says, see, that's the whole joke, isn't it? They say that the whole thing is planned, and I'm like, are you kidding me? A bunch of conservatives, Second Amendment supporters went into the Capitol without guns, and they think we organized that? I don't think so. So I don't. If that's not saying like I want to do a coup on the government, I don't know what is.
No,
you know what I mean?
Especially with support from these guys. I also have to take a quick side note. I googled Gavin Wax to find out his age. Can't find his age, but I found GavinWax.com, and on GavinWax.com it shows the latest articles that he's written, and an article he dropped on October 6, 2022 is titled. Matt Gaetz emerges valiantly from scandal as model America First leader.
You can't make that shit up, dog. There's no way.
It's so good. It's so oh my god, dude.
Just like all of the worst people you can find. It's stuffed into one room, right?
Model there. America First leader. The model one. This is the guy that we need to look up to.
It's giving when Kanye said, especially Adolf Hitler. Not even, but especially. Matt Gaetz is especially a model to us.
Nah, chill. On August 2nd, 2022, he dropped an article titled, What Americans Can Learn from Viktor Orban's Courage.
Ah, nice.
Courage?
Courage.
Courage?
You know, speaking at CPAC as a conservative nowadays, it takes a lot of courage because you could get canceled.
True. Yeah, I could get canceled just for showing up to CPAC.
Just for using my First Amendment right to free speech. You know what I mean?
Yeah, come on.
I could easily get canceled for that, and Viktor Orban is just so strong.
Wow, those guys at HITO, look at how they make fun of me for being a young Republican. It's so hard these days.
Marjorie Taylor Greene also went on to say it's almost midnight, referring to how close people are, real Americans are to losing their country. And it's giving very like if I was there, it would have been different vibes. You know what I mean?
it's giving Mark Wahlberg when he's talking about 9/11 and said, "Hey, if I was on that plane, all I'm saying is I'd have stopped them." Yeah,
exactly. And then so the White House and Biden's team condemned the statement, saying like you know an elected representative saying this is pretty bad.
Yeah,
you shouldn't be saying if I was there, it would have been different. And then she basically backed up her statement and said, "No, I was just being sarcastic. It was just a joke," which is funny because it's like, no, I was only joking about overthrowing the government successfully, even though people with my exact ideology tried to overthrow the government successfully only 2 years ago.
No, I was only joking about my fans storming the Capitol and saying that actually, yeah, if they were real fans, if they were true Scotsmen, they'd have done it better and they'd have won.
Everyone knows that when Adolf Hitler said, "Just kidding, guys," he meant it. You know what I mean?
Everyone knows that when Kanye said, "Just kidding," all his sins went away. And he made graduation.
The reason I think it's relevant for Kevin McCarthy is that obviously he's not going to do anything about these statements. No. He barely did anything when she was like, you know, presenting with Nick Fuentes, however many months ago that was. And now he's relying on her for a vote for speaker, so nothing's going to happen. And I think we can expect to see that for the next 2 years. He's not going to do anything about these people being fucking, well, I mean, just bigoted, calling for violence, etc.
Unhinged.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I don't think he's going to do anything about that. So that's a really good time for us. In democracy as a whole, I think it's a big win.
Yeah, honestly, it is. Pro Kevin over here.
I'm a part of the Yes Kevin movement.
The Yes Kevin, whatever the opposite of never ever Kevin movement. I'm the Forever Kevin.
Forever Kevin movement. Exactly. Moving on to another W though. We got to talk about Elon Musk and his Twitter purge.
It's so good. It's so good watching him just fucking regress.
Yeah.
Into a child. The way he's handling this whole situation.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people. So this is the story that keeps on giving, right? Like we've been covering the Elon Musk buying Twitter story ever since the summer when he announced that he was going to spend $42 billion to buy it, and then recently he basically admitted that like I had no choice but to buy it once I announced I was going to.
Once I signed the papers, going to a certain stage in the deal to where I knew I legally couldn't back out.
Yeah, well, and he's making it seem like I just had no choice but to do it. And it's like, you did it to yourself, big dog.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely playing the victim here. And it's like, it's working. I know someone, unfortunately, who said... I can't name any names, but I know someone.
Well, that would be
like,
doxing.
Exactly. A fucking Elon Musk fan, right? One of the most insufferable people I know. They said, actually, yeah, the government forced Elon to buy Twitter after he said he was going to. All he said is that he was going to, and then he was forced to buy it. Well, that's the people that we're competing with.
Well, but didn't he like he began the process though, and he waived.
She thinks that him saying that he was going to buy it meant that the government made him buy it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, because he began the process, and he waived his right to. I don't remember the exact term.
That's what actually happened.
Yes. He waived some right to. I don't know. I can't remember exactly what the term is.
I don't know business.
Exactly.
I don't know business.
I don't need to be smarter than this individual.
On God. Business major, by the way. Anyway, I digress. He had gone far enough into the process to where they were like doing the things. They were getting shit moved over. And then he's like, no. There's actually too many bots. He just tried to back out too late into the deal.
Yeah.
That's why he had to. And he was facing like $1 billion fine, which he really should have just ate. Because he is fumbling the bag.
Basically, he didn't do his due diligence, and then he had to buy it because you can't announce that you're going to buy something, move forward in the process, tank the value of that company, and then back out.
Yes.
That's not fair at all in terms of business and competition and free trade. So yeah, he was forced to go through with it at threat of a fine, and I think, was it possible jail time as well?
I don't know if it was jail time. I know it was like upwards of $1 billion in fines, or over $1 billion.
Yeah.
It was something like, this was a couple months ago.
Yeah.
So I don't really remember a lot of the details, but yeah, he was going to get hit pretty hard.
The broader point is that he has been in the headlines for quite a while now, not only because of Twitter, but also, because of a bunch of other things. But with Twitter specifically...
Because he came out as a Republican.
Well,
it's so hard these days.
He came out as a Republican. His workplaces have been accused of being called basically plantations. He's done all kinds of insane things recently. And he's just... he's back again. He's back at it.
Back in the fray.
And in a big way, because he can't help but make himself the main character. And one thing I was thinking of is, like, once you get more than $1 billion, once you're the wealthiest man on the planet, I feel like you could just chill.
You should just shut the fuck up.
You could just
enjoy the obscene amount of wealth that you have.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, you won. You can just fade into irrelevance. Nobody's coming for you. There's no strong leftist movement in this country. I promise that you're safe. But by putting yourself out in front of literally every single news cycle all the fucking time, you're kind of just asking for smoke. And boy,
absolutely.
did he get smoked.
Oh, let's get into it.
Let's get into it, because obviously, again, Twitter is not like the be-all, end-all. The world's going to exist after Twitter implodes. But he went on a banning spree recently of a bunch of accounts that he was claiming were doxing him. And this began with an account on Twitter called Elon Jet. And this was a bot account that was just posting the position and location and movements of Elon's private jet.
Yes.
Which, mind you, is public information in accordance with the guidelines set up by the federal government. You can track any plane
look
anytime.
It up. Any single private jet ever, no matter who it is.
Any plane.
You can fucking watch. Any plane.
Yeah, there's apps where you can, like, enter some, like, I don't know, serial number of the plane or fucking whatever, or whatever's on your ticket, and you can track any plane that you want. Because it's all public information, which that's not a problem.
It's not, because I'm not going to go into the HITO private jet and fucking intercept Elon Musk midair.
Right.
It's not happening. That's not feasible. There is no safety risk. It's not like I know where Elon Musk is going to land on his plane. I can only see where he is. I can't, from my position in Michigan, see Elon Musk wherever the fuck he lives and say, oh, he's flying to Nebraska? Let me fucking go get him.
Yeah, exactly. You can't do that. I don't have, like, a surface-to-air missile that can take down his plane.
I don't have a ballista. I don't have a Joker.
I can't pull, like, a Modern Warfare 2 and jump out of my plane and land on his plane and get inside.
Exactly.
It's not going to happen.
I can't call a kill streak in.
Exactly. Like, none of that is going to happen. It's not a public safety risk. And by the way, most planes are flying into public airports where there's, like, a ton of security. You're going to be fine. Like, there's no risk. It's not even, I don't even think you can qualify that as doxing, really.
No, it's not. You can't.
Anyway, this Elon Jet account, it got banned off of Twitter.
Elon had also said when he first bought Twitter that in my dedication to free speech, I won't even ban accounts like Elon Jet, although they pose a significant safety risk to me.
Yep, he did say that. He posted exactly that when he first took control of Twitter. And of course, he went on to ban Elon Jet. And his reasoning was that he was alleging that his location was being doxed by various journalists and this account specifically. And so he went on a banning spree of all of those accounts. And the creator of Elon Jet was actually just some like college kid who, just like me for real, who admired Elon Musk. It said in an interview like, yeah, I'm like an Elon Musk fan, and I just wanted to, you know, use my computer science knowledge to make some bot that can, you know, interact with Twitter or whatever. Completely normal thing to do for someone that like is aware of code and that kind of shit. And then Elon Musk DM'd him. And these DMs leaked. These DMs leaked, and this was back, I don't know, however many months ago, where Elon Musk was asking him like, "Hey, take down this account. Like, I don't want this account to be up anymore." And the kid was basically like, "I didn't mean anything bad by it. Like, I'm a huge fan, and I just wanted to use like my engineering experience and stuff to make this." And then Elon Musk was like, "How did you make a bot to post flight information?" And it's like, you would think. Supposed to be the Iron Man
Tony
of
Stark
the world.
would understand.
Supposed to be Iron Man. You would think he understands how a fucking bot works.
Yeah.
You'd think he understands how these basic things work. And then this kid was like, "Okay, I'll take it down if you give me $50,000 in a Tesla."
Oh, I remember that.
And Elon Musk said, "No, I'm not doing it." Even though that's a drop in the fucking bucket for him.
It does not matter. But, he can just take a Tesla off the line and give it to this kid. God.
But Elon Musk apparently hated this kid because his bot was taken down. I don't know if it's back up. I don't think it's back up at this point at the time of recording this on Monday, December 19th. But
Elon Musk probably recognized that giving this kid Tesla would actually be essentially putting a hit out on this kid when the Tesla breaks down and fucking kills the people inside because you can't open the doors when it's on fire.
Maybe that would have been a better way to go about this.
Maybe you should actually give you a couple Teslas.
He could have tapped into the Tesla's computer from his headquarters and then just manually crashed it. You know
he could have just shut it down. He said engine off.
He could have just sped it up to like 300 miles an hour.
He could have done what he did to the one guy who was charging it like backwards.
Jailbreaking or whatever.
Yeah, he was jailbreaking his Tesla to charge it funky and just shut off his car.
That's crazy. That is crazy. Anyway, I also mentioned that several journalists were banned for covering the Elon Musk beat. That includes Taylor Lorenz, by the way, who was the one that was tracking the Libs of TikTok story and became pretty big, pretty demonized figure in conservative media. So Taylor Lorenz was taken down.
I'm trying to get like that.
That's what I'm saying. Taylor Lorenz was taken down. A bunch of other people were taken down, and he claims that they were sharing links to his address/location.
Just a lie.
And I haven't seen any evidence that they were actually doing this.
He also said that the Elon Jet account was posting his location 24/7.
Yeah.
It's like if you're on a jet 24/7, but if you're not on a fucking plane, then they don't know where you are.
Elon Musk also took down similar jet accounts that followed other billionaires like Bill Gates.
Every jet account.
And there was one that followed like Russian oligarchs. The libs aren't going to be very happy with that one. And so, I mean, pretty crazy thing to do. Maybe covering for the fact that he's visiting certain islands ran by a former friend that killed himself recently. Very sad, very sad. But of course, he did all this, like I said, because he alleged that people were leaking his location. But from what I can tell, it was just taking down accounts that were like linking to the Elon Jet account or linking to stories about the Elon Jet account, which he called ban evasion, which to me is like,
ban evasion.
Isn't that exactly what you were mad at people for doing with the Hunter Biden story? Because they were taking down links to that Hunter Biden story, and now he's taking down links to stories about Elon Jet being taken down.
Yeah. Wholly
inconsistent.
I love it.
Yeah. He showed up in a Twitter space. Did you see this?
He showed up in a Twitter space and then got rid of Twitter spaces.
Yeah. He showed up. For some reason, banned accounts were allowed to do Twitter spaces despite not being able to post. So all the banned people got together.
Probably because Twitter's infrastructure is crumbling from the inside.
Yeah, probably just because of all the bugs on top of all the other ones. So they got together in a moment of solidarity. And we're just talking about what happened. And then Elon Musk joined, which was pretty crazy. And then they were asking him questions like, you know, why did you do this? How was this consistent ruling? Like, what is going on? And then he just dipped. He couldn't handle the heat after like 3 minutes. He just dipped out. And then the next day, Twitter Spaces got deleted. Like, that is... And of course he said, well, Twitter Spaces aren't working right now because we're fixing bugs. But like, we know
he's such a child.
Yeah,
he's such a child.
We know why he took it down. Like,
he's just like that one kid that like hovers his finger right over. He's like, I'm not touching you.
Yeah.
I'm not touching you, though.
Have you noticed also that lately he's been claiming that people are trying to assassinate him?
Yeah, he said someone tried to assassinate his son because of the Jet account, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because the original like impetus for all of this was that there was some video of some guy pulling up in a car next to who he claims is himself, like Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Pulled up in a car, like recording him with a mask on, and was like, I don't even know what he claims, like looking for his kid or trying to hurt him or something like that. And he claimed that was like a doxing threat for him and his family. It could have just been entirely fabricated. I don't even know what this is about, but like that's what he claims. And you can probably find that video on Twitter if you really want to, but that's what
unless
started
it was
all of this.
purged from the internet.
That is true. That is true. But that, surprisingly, is not where the story stops.
No.
Because even more unfolded yesterday, and this is one of those rare moments where it was a good thing that we waited one day to record our early episodes.
Absolutely.
Because we got, all of this next part was yesterday.
And it directly affects us, too, which is like the crazy thing.
So he, for a brief moment, banned Mastodon, which is a competitor to Twitter. They don't really pose a threat.
I didn't even know what the fuck Mastodon was.
It's just like it's basically just like another Twitter. You go and post. I'm sure there's some different features, but it's not really a threat to Twitter as a company. But it's just like a competing social media that's trying to grow, trying to do a similar thing that Twitter does. It isn't really a threat, but this is obviously anti-competitive behavior, right? Completely shutting off access for one of your competitors to your social media site that's available to everyone else. Not something that you can really do. But he did claim that all of their links were security risks, and within the Twitter algorithm, he marked all of them as malware, so you couldn't access them, and it took them down immediately.
Sick.
So that was pretty cool. And then, as I was writing this section, he posted a new policy through the Twitter support Twitter account. And it said, it's been recently deleted, and I think it was walked back. But it said, quote, "We will remove accounts created solely for the purpose of promoting other social media platforms and content that contains links or usernames for the following platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Mastodon, Truth Social, Tribal, Nostr, and Post."
What's Truth Social on there?
He doesn't, Trump. He doesn't like Trump, I guess.
Oh, yeah, because Trump said that thing about how Elon came to him begging.
Yeah.
After Elon said something about Trump. I love the beef.
Notice, though, how there are some missing social media platforms.
TikTok.
One of them is TikTok. That's missing. Parler is also missing.
Okay.
There's this one called Gab. I don't really know what that is.
Isn't that like a Nazi thing?
Maybe.
I thought Gab's whole thing is that they were like not censoring a lot of things, so it's kind of like a 4chan.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, a lot of Nazis and a lot of CP.
Well, that's there. That was not banned. But I think TikTok wasn't banned. Gotta be to protect Lives of TikTok account. Because the Lives of TikTok account is solely about promoting what is posted on TikTok. Like that's the account.
That's all they do is they repost TikToks.
And by the way,
direct people to TikTok.
That's like an official doxing account. They're known for doxing locations of teachers that are like groomers, right? Like that's really what they do. But of course, TikTok wasn't in this list. But now it's basically that if your account exists to post like content that promotes other social media sites, or you're posting content that's like, hey, go check out my other social media sites, that was supposed to be not allowed. Again, this has been walked back, but that was the original policy that was set forth for like, I don't know, 12 hours, however many hours is live.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Because what does posting a link to Instagram, what risk does that pose to Twitter?
Yeah.
It's not like Instagram competes with Twitter directly.
They're not the same thing.
They serve wildly different purposes. We post wildly different things to Instagram than what we post on Twitter, which, by the way, you should follow both of them if you're active on social medias. But I digress. Like, we post wildly different things. Imagine if YouTube said something like, actually, we're really scared about Twitter taking away active daily users from YouTube. So you can no longer link to your other social media websites here. All this does is hurt small content creators.
Yeah.
And it's just a fucking stupid decision that doesn't need to be made.
Oh, no, especially because within this policy that, again, was set forth for like 12 hours, link trees were also banned.
What the fuck?
Which, if you don't know, it's something that we use. It's just a website that directs you to like a link tree, a list of all of your links to different social media websites and different websites that you want to like direct your listeners or followers towards. Basically, that's really all it is.
That's how we get motherfuckers to listen to the pod.
No, exactly.
TikTok.
Yeah, we post our TikToks. Some of them go viral if we're lucky, and then we get people to go through the link tree to listen to our episodes like that. And that's how a lot of small businesses work. That's how almost all individual content creators work.
Every social media thing works.
And by taking that away, if someone's primary platform is like posting on Twitter, and then they actually like write a blog that they're trying to raise money for, so that can be their career. Yeah, you basically kneecap them by doing that.
Sick.
And it's just openly hostile towards small businesses, people that work on places like Etsy, or are doing various different individual level work on different sites. Like, it just completely obliterates their ability to exist on Twitter, which is wild.
It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, free speech, though.
But I just wonder what the thought process was when he was making this decision.
Yeah. And then he was, him and his mom, actually, May Musk, were posting, they were on about some shit like, what other platform would allow unfettered promotion of competitors? And it's
every
like all
other
of them.
platform.
Literally all of them.
I get on here every Wednesday at noon. Sunday usually is at night if you're a Patreon and get to listen early, but whatever. Every Wednesday and Sunday night and chill for the other platforms I'm on. I get on TikTok. We barely even post regular TikToks. Most of the TikToks we post are clips of the YouTube video.
Yeah, like, every single platform allows this because it's social media. The point is networking, right?
Yeah.
The point is being able to reach a broad audience through as many avenues as you can. And like taking that away is just nonsensical. It's ridiculous. And it's anti-competitive behavior. And I would think in violation of some antitrust laws. It would have to be, I would think. I don't know if it would be enforced. That's a different story. But I would think you can't do that. It's a violation of like competition.
I just think it's fucking dumb.
It is dumb. It is very dumb.
Dumb.
But the story doesn't end there.
It gets deeper
because he did a poll recently in an act of insecurity and a showing of real insecurity. I would think.
Absolutely.
He did a poll on Twitter where he asked, "Should I step down as head of Twitter?" And he said, "I will abide by the results of this poll." And yes won with 57% of the vote. That's crazy. That's crazy. It won with a 14% margin, dog.
Funny because like
that's
something
nuts.
we didn't even talk about was when the Elon Jet stuff was going on. Didn't he post a poll on Twitter and then he didn't like the results? So he said, actually, there were too many options for people to pick from.
He said this was after he banned like all the journalists like Matt Binder and Taylor Lorenz and a bunch of other ones and the Elon Jet account.
He was asking if they should get an indefinite ban, a 24-hour ban, or a 7-day ban.
Or the suspension be lifted immediately.
Yeah, those are the four options. Yeah. Not very complicated at all.
And then suspension lift immediately got like 47% or something like that. It won. And then he was like, too many options, trying again.
He said it's going to a runoff.
And then he did it again. And they still voted in favor of lifting the suspension for all of them.
And he didn't abide by it, did he? Love it.
Well, but I think he lifted it for some of them, but not for all of them.
Not for the Jet accounts.
I think the journalists are basically back because they're doing their job, right?
Yeah.
And you would think that like media and journalism is a special type of free speech. In fact, it is in the Constitution a special type of free speech. I know that Elon Musk doesn't have to abide by what the Constitution says because he's a private business. But the point he's been making is that he's going to treat free speech as it's treated in the law. And that's clearly not the case.
I love it.
That's clearly not the case.
I love it so much.
But on the poll where he asked if he was going to step down as head of Twitter or if he should, that got 57% yes.
Yeah.
And then as this poll was still going for like the 12 hours or whatever it was up, he said, he quote, posted this on Twitter. He said, "As the saying goes, be careful what you wish for, as you might get it." And then he posted, "Those who want power are the ones who deserve it the least." Just the corniest shit, dog. The corniest shit.
Bro is coping. He's coping so hard. Oh my God. Because he thinks everyone loves him.
Yeah.
He thought the results of that poll were going to be like 1090.
No, this is like the billionaire equivalent of like, please give me validation. You know what I mean?
Where
like,
my hug at?
He's begging for people to make him feel better.
He's sliding on people. Do you think I'm ugly?
Yeah.
I would ask you out, but I just know a girl like you would never give me a chance.
Yeah, no, it's exactly what it is. I know I'm a little ugly, but would you please? Yeah.
I know I'm a little ugly, but girls just don't give me a chance, especially girls that are really beautiful like you.
Yeah, it's what he's doing.
They just don't want to give me a chance to show my personality.
I'm
a nice guy.
He's
girls
the most
just don't like nice guys.
The most uncharismatic person, and he owns the platform. That's crazy. That's crazy. Obviously, anti-free speech of him. And we talked about the whole Twitter Spaces debacle, and I doubt Twitter's going anywhere. But I do want to mention that the Dickriders are crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And I have... did you see the Quarterings tweets about this?
No.
Okay, good. I'm glad you didn't hear them because...
I don't know.
We're going to go through them, and I want you to stop me when it's too cringy to handle, okay?
He's a chronic Dickrider.
The Quartering is a crazy Dickrider, and I have...
Flags on the play.
Bro, as soon as Elon let this poll fly... him, along with a bunch of others in the conservative media, were losing their fucking mind.
Yeah.
They were going absolutely crazy. But out of all of the ones that I looked at, because again, I'm a chronically online poster.
Classic.
The Quartering was the most just unbearable to read.
Oh,
and so we're going to
God.
go through them today. I have many. Many. This first one here says, if you're a fellow content creator who cares about the culture war, if you care about free speech and you... you gotta let me...
Who cares about the culture war? He said that unironically?
If you care about free speech and you don't make a video immediately imploring your viewers to vote no on Elon Musk's poll to step down as Twitter CEO, I don't ever want to hear you complain again. This matters. He goes on.
I mean, he cares about the culture war. Of course this is matter to him.
He goes on. He said, seriously, at Elon Musk, you are screwing us by letting this poll end at 4 a.m. U.S. time. I mean, I know you always plan to pass off leadership on Twitter, but this is too soon. I am literally getting out of bed to shoot a video to mobilize people, but we don't have enough time.
No.
It gets worse. It gets worse. It gets worse.
I'm getting out. I'm literally fucking shaking right now, Elon.
He said, please, at Elon Musk. Like he's
please, Elon.
He's wording this like it's an email. Like he said, please at Elon Musk, comma, space down. This is so important. Extend your poll. You are not giving us a chance to create content to appeal to folks. This poll ends at 4 a.m. in the United States. You must, in caps, restart this poll. Seriously, I'm leaving bed to create a video, but give us time.
Did he drop a best quartering? He, him, quartering.com/.
And then here's the quartering. He was doing a quote retweet to Mr. Beast. And Elon Musk, he had his poll, right?
Isn't Mr. Beast like low-key like a Trumper now?
I don't know if he's a Trumper.
I saw him drop something under like an Elon tweet that was vaguely pro-Trump. Or Elon said something about like left being crybabies. And he's like, God, I know, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know his political views, but I mean, Mr. Beast, crazy production value, but he does just make poor people dance for him.
Yeah, absolutely. He does just do the Squid Games.
Yeah.
Literally, unironically.
Yeah. But Mr. Beast, he was replying to Elon Musk's his poll. And of course, the poll said, should I resign? And then Mr. Beast said, if you're going to keep doing stuff like this, yes. And it was a screenshot of the policy that was like no link trees, no links to Instagram, that kind of thing. And the quartering said, please tell at Mr. Beast he already walked this back. And then he said, like an email, Jimmy, comma, please DM me. I can explain. He already reversed course, and this is the most important poll in history. We need to keep Elon as CEO.
What a fucking nerd.
Yeah.
Are there more?
There's more.
No.
There's so much more. He said, he's quote tweeting now somebody that said, utterly hilarious how flustered you are over this. This is your personal 9/11. You want to know what he starts off with? He says, yes. He said, yes.
Yes, this is actually worse than 9/11.
Yeah, he said yes.
No.
Yes, Twitter is the public square. Losing freedom of speech in that square is more important than 9/11. Does that make you feel uncomfortable? It makes me feel like shit to say it, but it's also true.
The quartering deserved the Elon Musk poll.
And then he goes on. I'm about to screw up my entire week by uploading a video in the middle of the night in regards to at Elon Musk stepping down as CEO. He doesn't owe me anything. But if I don't try to sway the vote, I can't show how much I care. Who needs money anyway? I don't know what he means by this. Like, I guess he's got like an algorithm worked out where he posts at certain times. But that guy, pretty silly. He's got more though. If I could just get 3 minutes on the phone with Elon Musk.
Bro, Sunday night quarterbacking. This is crazy.
He said, no, yeah, literally. He said, if I could just get 3 minutes on the phone with Elon Musk, I could convince him to stay a little longer. Please share the video above. We cannot lose this vote. And I think the video above was his.
Guys, we have leaked audio of the quarterings call with Elon Musk. Please. Please don't step down, please. It's worse than 9/11, bro, please.
This is everything.
This is everything to me.
The libs. He then says,
I still see your shadows in my room.
And this was all within like a couple hours. Like he's posting right now. He said, if you don't vote no on this poll, you don't care about freedom of speech and you don't care about the public square. This is everything. At Elon Musk, I want you to know, I want you to step down. Wait, he says, I know. He said, I know you want to step down, and I fully expected it, but this is way too early. You need more time to shift the culture than a few weeks. And it was a link to his video again. And then this is the last one I have. Okay.
Okay.
There were some people replying to Elon Musk saying something along the lines of like, here, this person should be the successor. This person should take over. And Elon Musk basically said, like take over the role of leading the company. And Elon Musk said, no one wants the job who can actually keep Twitter alive. There is no successor. And then the quartering comes in. And he says,
no way.
Elon, I want to do it, and I can't keep it alive. Not only that, grow it far beyond what it is now. I have a complex understanding of alt tech, what Twitter needs, and what creators need. I also have a dozen years running a marketing agency that represents Fortune 500 companies. He said, put me in, coach.
Shut the fuck up. There's no way. This is literally the same as like, man, I saw Stafford throw that ball. I know I could do it better.
That's crazy, dog. That's all the tweets I have from the quartering. He's just a right-wing grifter. Insane.
He's going to OD on Dick. Did he wake up this morning?
I don't know, dog. That is like the craziest amount of dick riding back to back to back. Like,
flag on the play.
Bro's got to be sore.
You're out for 2 weeks.
He's got to be sore.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Yeah,
go straight to jail.
Flag on the play. Too much dick riding.
Holy shit.
Isn't that's insane?
Please, Elon.
Anyway, that wraps up our little section on Twitter. I guess we'll see what happens. I'm sure more is going to develop, but don't be a dick rider.
That's so fucking good. That's such good content. I might have to watch that quartering video later today.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I might have to check that out and see what's good. But anyway, moving on. We got to go to what could be the worst state in the union. I don't know yet. You guys got to vote on it this week for the HITO Award show.
You guys got to find out.
We got to move on to Florida. So basically, in Ron DeSantis' latest bout of political grandstanding, he announced earlier this week that he's going to be taking an even harder stance against science.
It's the classic double down technique, you know what I mean?
Classic double down. Classic double down and when a top contender for the presidency in 2024 takes a principled stance against science.
Hey, look, all I'm going to say is that when your state gets nominated for Worst State of 2022 for the HITO Award show multiple times,
it's got to hurt.
That's a bad sign.
I know that nationally syndicated broadcast over here.
Exactly.
We're international too.
Exactly.
We got a couple of people in Canada. Emma said that Canuck wasn't a slur for Canadians, so that makes me sad.
I think we got played.
I think we did get played.
Yeah, I definitely need a slur for Canadians now that they've proven to be mischievous, duplicitous. Duplicitous. I think the Nazis weren't right about their whole anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. It's Canadians. It's Canadians.
It's Justin Trudeau. It's Emma.
We should have known.
Our other Canadian listeners.
We should have known that something was wrong with Canada when. Fuck. Cut that out.
Fuck.
We should have known that something was wrong with Canada when they treated the Geneva Convention, the war crime list, as like a checklist for what they needed to do in World War II. Something's wrong with them. Those people. Them.
Yeah, them. Mm-hmm. All of them.
I'm gonna find a good slur and I'm gonna use it.
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna go deep. It's gonna be a deep cut into Canadian lore.
Yeah.
God. Anyway, despite organizations like the World Health Organization, the CDC, the FDA, and various other regulatory bodies throughout the world determining that vaccines are safe, COVID vaccines are safe and effective in preventing COVID-19, preventing spread, preventing sickness, preventing death,
hospitalization,
lessening sickness, lessening hospitalizations, making you feel a little bit better than you otherwise would had you got COVID when you're vaccinated. Ron DeSantis, the medical expert, is petitioning the Florida State Supreme Court asking for a grand jury to investigate the quote, development, promotion, and distribution of vaccines purported to prevent COVID-19 infection, symptoms, and transmission, end quote.
Wait, brother, you handled the distribution of vaccines in your state, though.
Oh,
that was up to you.
I read the this morning. I sat there with my cup of Joe and some Tropicana strawberry peach lemonade. Not sponsored, by the way. Which I don't understand where those are. At the same time? No, cup of Joe, then lemonade. Because I'd be reading and typing.
I was gonna say that's a vicious cycle.
I'm doing work. I'm putting in work.
Exactly.
This morning, you know what I mean?
Not getting paid hourly, mind you.
God, I get up, I clock in. There's no clock because I don't get paid the more I work. It's a constant rate. But anyway, I digress. I went and I read the petition this morning, and I've got some notable segments that I need to read for you all.
Okay.
So the first segment right at the top of the petition on like the second or third page is, quote, "It is impossible to imagine that there are so many influential individuals came to this view on their own, referring to the COVID vaccine being effective. Rather, it is likely that individuals and companies with an incentive to do so created these perceptions for financial gain.
What the fuck is medical consensus, my guy?
No, that's what I'm getting into. Two points with this. First, individuals didn't come to this conclusion on their own. That's what medical consensus is. Science is not I've said this many times. Science is not individuals making discoveries on their own. Science is collaboration. Science is a bunch of people coming together to form consensus opinions that we treat as what we know to be fact at the time until evidence arises otherwise, and that evidence becomes the consensus opinion. We stick with what the status quo. We stick with what we know.
We would have all died had we not used that method in order to develop new technologies. For medicine specifically, it's like, no, you wouldn't be like, oh, well, it's not like every driver in America came to the conclusion on their own that their car works.
Yeah.
They must be being paid by GM to push this product. No, of course not, you fucking idiot. It's called consensus. It's called trusting expertise.
Literally.
Because if we all had to get, you know, a fucking doctorate degree in medicine to take a vaccine to trust it fully, then we wouldn't be anywhere. Everyone would die.
I didn't spend 40 hours at the library last weekend to be questioned on basic fucking biology by any Tom, Dick, and Harry that voted for Trump last election.
By some fucking political operative.
I didn't. That's not what I do it for. You know what I mean? And then second, anything any company does is for financial gain.
It's capitalism, brother.
Exactly. And Ron DeSantis doesn't necessarily care about that. And conservatives love to use anti-capitalist rhetoric, the rhetoric that we use disingenuously, because they know that it's an effective way to get people in. Because I feel like most people understand that the profit incentive is a bad way to run things like medicine. They understand that bad things can happen from that. And conservatives love to use that fear, that almost baked in fear that people have of people being taken advantage of, because they recognize that they are taken advantage of to drum up support for their own causes. But then they don't do anything meaningful about it because ultimately, at the end of the day, they are the capitalists at the top.
Yeah, and I think that the problem is, especially with medical infrastructure and our well, if you can even call it a healthcare system. With what we have of a healthcare system, I think it's pretty much an American experience or just a working class experience to hate it when people profit off of your suffering. Especially with medicine, because you can tell. Like, even if you're not a political person, you can look at our healthcare apparatus, our healthcare system, and see like, yeah, this is fucked up. I should not be paying $7,000 for an ambulance ride.
Videos go viral like every week talking about how, I called the hospital and got my itemized bill, and it took thousands of dollars off of the bill. Off my hospital bill because I made them check.
But the problem is that the analysis ends there. And they somehow blame this on like liberals or Joe Biden or specific companies. Like, no, it's how the entire system is run. And I gotta believe,
it's by design.
I gotta believe that it just like, it's gotta be like anti-Semitism, right? They gotta believe like it's Jewish people running these healthcare companies, and if it was good white Christian men, then it would be different. Like it has to be that, because otherwise, what is the understanding? Like, what's the takeaway? If it's not the system is corrupt, then it's gotta be certain individuals are making it worse. But no, this is how the system works. It's how it's always worked.
The understanding for like on the ground conservatives has to be something like, well, it's government intervening in medicine that is getting here. But I honestly don't think they think that deeply about it, because they can't, because the moment you think deeply about it, you have to challenge the incentive structures that exist within medicine that could cause things like this to happen. Things like what they're alleging to happen, although that's not the case here with the COVID vaccine.
Bro, if there wasn't government intervention, then old people just die. Like,
on God,
they just don't get healthcare.
They would just roll over and die. They wouldn't get healthcare. They wouldn't get Social Security, which Ron Johnson tries to cut every year.
Because that was the problem before we had Medicare for old people to just get enrolled at, I think, 65, 64, something like that. That was the issue, is that they were just dying. We just weren't taking care of elderly people.
Just couldn't afford to live.
No, exactly. Like, you just couldn't afford healthcare, so we made Medicare so people could get it. We made Medicaid for poor people to be able to get access to healthcare, but Medicaid is in shambles all the time anyway. It's like the process of privatizing essential infrastructure is why people get ripped off so easily. And leaving it up to the whims of the free market would only make it substantially worse. Like that is indisputable.
And when you look at graphs of healthcare expenditure versus, I think, patient outcomes, it's healthcare expenditure versus something. We're one of the worst. We spend the most on healthcare for the worst care amongst like OECD nations, something like that. It's awful.
It's almost like the government can negotiate much better prices and then pay them with taxpayer money as compared to each individual individually trying to figure out how much they need to pay.
Exactly. When they have no knowledge of these topics and can be taken advantage of. And it's almost like sometimes I need to pay for surgery or I'm just going to fucking die.
Yeah. It's almost like, keep in mind, the Republican Party did vote against Medicare being able to negotiate drug prices.
Yeah.
They also voted against lowering insulin costs. They voted against all kinds of good things that would make healthcare cheaper. So.
Great things that would make healthcare cheaper. Anyway. Back to the Florida story. Another quote that I have, this is when he starts like justifying the reasons for the petition. Quote, for children ages 15 through 17, Moderna states that the known risks and possible severe complications outweigh the potential risks of having a rare rare adverse reaction to vaccination. Borla tweeted that severe COVID-19 was, quote, rare in children, end quote, while urging that widespread vaccination is a critical tool to stop transmission. But just 3 months later, Borla stated that Delta variant posed a substantial threat to children. This is because, end quote, months later, a new variant came out. A new variant means new complications.
Yeah.
He's just obfuscating basic like facts of science to make his point. And that's a common theme throughout this whole petition to get the grand jury, is that he's taking these things, he's taking data that are months apart and saying, oh, they didn't initially get it right, or this new variable came around that they couldn't predict, therefore they've been wrong the whole time and they're lying to the public.
Right.
Because the law the law that gives weight to this petition is Florida has a law saying that drug companies can't lie to people.
Yeah.
In like marketing their drugs, which fair enough.
Sounds like a violation of the free market, if I'm being honest.
On God. Yeah. Sounds like
you should let every consumer figure out who's lying to them, and whoever gets fucked over, that's their fault.
I'm pro laissez-faire economics. I'm pro the invisible hand spanking all the bad boys.
Companies wouldn't just lie if there was no laws. They're not supposed to.
Yeah, guys.
Don't they know that it's immoral to tell lies?
Profit-seeking behavior doesn't corrupt.
Yeah, exactly.
Profit-seeking can't corrupt.
Also, what gets me is that, like, he includes a tweet in this petition. Yeah. Like, that should invalidate it immediately.
Oh, yeah, no, it's also riddled with typos.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's why I was stumbling to read that last one.
Oh, nice.
There are just a couple typos in there. I copy-pasted, directly from the petition.
Yeah. And it's like,
ridiculous.
I don't know a ton about, like, vaccine technology or even, like, vaccine distribution strategy, but I would think it's like a utilitarian calculation, right?
Yeah, like, it's crazy. I do.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. You would think that it's just like, you know, if the risks or if the possible benefits outweigh the possible risks, then yeah, you take the vaccine.
Yep.
Because getting COVID is worse than any adverse effects that could come from the vaccine. It seems pretty simple to me.
And that's exactly what's going to come up in this next excerpt that I have. Okay. In this next excerpt, I'll just fucking read it.
All right.
Quote, in April 2021, increased cases of myocarditis and pericarditis were reported in individuals in the United States after receiving the Pfizer and Moderna COVID-19 vaccinations. In June 2021, Moderna shared a press release via Twitter, which was later removed, and stated, we have not established a causal association with myocarditis and or pericarditis and our vaccines. Around the same time, a spokeswoman for Pfizer said a causal link to the vaccine has not been established, and that with a vast number of people vaccinated to date, the benefit-risk profile of our vaccine remains positive. But just 4 months later, both representing both companies acknowledge that occurrence of myocarditis on their websites representing an extremely or very rare side effect. Moderna stated that myocarditis and pericarditis are typically mild causes and individuals tend to recover within a short time. Nothing about how Moderna and Pfizer handled that situation is wrong. In fact, that is exactly how scientists should handle situations. There is a 4-month window here. The sample size for all of these COVID COVID studies is incredibly large. We have incredibly large swaths of data to do this. We have excess death numbers, so many different tools that scientists have been able to use to analyze what exactly is going on with the vaccine and what has been going on with the virus. One, we know that myocarditis is linked to the vaccine. There are cases of myocarditis that have happened because of the vaccine as a vaccine side effect. However, the risk is not as great as getting myocarditis or pericarditis from COVID.
I was going to say, yeah.
It's just not the same thing. And when you're looking at the risk reward here, the vaccine is the one that pans out. That's what it is. They're doing good science by retracting their statements 4 months later, a long time when you're looking at such a large study. Comes out with new information.
It's almost like when the science changes, we change our positions because we care about empiricism.
It's almost like the consensus changed on data that's verifiable and real that you can look up right now on Google Scholar.
I swear, every conservative thinks that politics and I guess medicine too is just a game of who gets to be right.
Yeah.
And they think that everyone else is lying, so they think that them lying is okay when really everyone else is trying to just move with the consensus and move with what science is telling them. And they think that that movement means that somehow they're like shifting the goalposts. It's like, no, science reveals new information.
And exactly. And it's that, and it's just that they're blatantly taking advantage of people's scientific illiteracy to try and get these points across. Because what they go on to say after this is they cite a study that the Florida Department of Health did that found a link between myocarditis and the vaccines, well-known information, as well as other international studies that found the same link. However, they did not give a time frame for when these studies were conducted.
Yeah.
They didn't say when these studies happened. If these studies happened before Pfizer and Moderna came out with their statement, like months in advance of Pfizer and Moderna retracting their statement, then okay, you have a point.
Yeah.
But the fact that they leave out the dates of these studies is incredibly suspect, very convenient, and only serves to push their point across if you're not, I guess, critically examining this petition as a regular person, which I don't know who would go do that other than us, who have a podcast where we cover these things.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's all fucking stupid. And I don't understand. It's awful.
I mean, and it's especially crazy because I know Ron DeSantis is on video saying, like, boasting about how good Florida's vaccination rates were during 2020 or during whenever we got the vaccines. He was on tape saying, like, oh, yeah, we did a really great job with these vaccines. You know, we have, like, the 3rd highest vaccination rate in the country. And now he's coming out saying, like, oh, well, the vaccines are really bad and we want to investigate how they were distributed. And again, it's like, brother, you were in charge of the distribution. That's on you, dog.
We want a grand jury investigation to examine how the federal government lied to the people of Florida in saying that vaccines prevent the spread of disease, which is also a thing that the CDC retract. And he talks about this in the petition. He says, well, actually, the CDC had said that this will stop COVID.
I don't think they ever said that.
They had said some things about it stopping transmission at the very beginning, and then they removed the statements when data came out to suggest that it's not stopping transition at rates that they initially thought it would.
Yeah. Almost
because
like
science changes.
Almost like the CDC as an institution relies on scientific information, and that information might change.
And relies on data that can change and will change their positions accordingly, as all good scientists should do.
Yeah, I can't imagine that anything will come from this, especially because profit-seeking behavior within the government and, you know, connections with private businesses is kind of how the country runs.
Yeah.
That's kind of the modus operandi of capitalism. I can't imagine
what he wants.
Because, right, the solution here is to nationalize the healthcare industry.
Yeah.
That's the only way to decommodify it because it is a national service that everyone needs access to. That's the only thing that you can really do. And I don't know how they would, like what other solution is there? Because they're complaining about the federal government or people in the federal government profiting off of mandating vaccines.
Yeah.
And it is true that Pfizer got tons of fucking money. Pfizer and Moderna got tons of money from the federal government buying the vaccine.
An absurd amount of money. And I have some issues with that, but those stand with the things inherent to capitalism.
But yeah, the reason that is because Pfizer and Moderna are private businesses. And by the way, Moderna was started by the federal government off of public money.
And it doesn't obfuscate the good science that underlies these things.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the vaccine development got public funding behind it, didn't it?
Yeah.
So, like most good science does, by the way. Funny how that works. But it's like, yeah, there's no real solution to the problem that Ron DeSantis is identifying other than nationalize it and decommodify it.
The issue is like, what could come of this grand jury investigation? Okay, the grand jury deems that it's worth investigating. This goes to trial, and you sue the federal government for telling people that vaccines slow the spread? What do expert witnesses look like in this case? Does Ron DeSantis bring Robert Malone, someone who is stripped of his medical license? Does Ron DeSantis bring the Florida Surgeon General, who is against the general consensus consensus position
all
of
they
the broader
do
scientific community?
Is look at a list of Joe Rogan guests and bring all of them into the courtroom. That's all they got to do. That's what Joe Rogan does. He finds the most unhinged people, and then once a year has a normal person.
These are our expert witnesses coming out, and then the federal government brings what? Actual scientists? Come on now, it's ridiculous. I have one more excerpt from this that I thought was worth noting. They said, quote, "Furthermore, excess mortality from heart attacks rose significantly during the COVID-19 pandemic, especially among individuals aged 25 to 44. These reports raise questions regarding whether the representations made by the pharmaceutical industry with respect to the safety and risks of their COVID-19 vaccines have been true." I feel like it's fairly easy to understand what's wrong with this statement. And it's the fact that, you know what else happened during that time that the COVID vaccine was going on that could lead to, I don't know, excess mortality due to heart-related conditions? You know what else happened?
I wonder.
The fucking pandemic. Fucking COVID, which we know causes myocarditis and pericarditis at higher rates than the vaccine does.
Yeah, and wasn't COVID like notorious for killing people with comorbidities?
Yes.
Like that was like the main thing. Yes. That was the main mode of death.
Especially people with heart mobilities. Comorbidities.
Yeah.
It's just this was a much more popular talking point, I think, a couple months ago, and it's so fucking dumb, dude. I don't understand how people get this one. Like, how do you fall for this one? Like, how do you not think that, oh yeah, maybe it's the pandemic that's leading to excess death?
People know that our healthcare industry is corrupt.
Yeah.
People know that pharmaceutical companies profit off of us immensely when we're just trying to get things that we need access to in order to survive. But the thing that's always confused me is they claim that the vaccines are like ineffective or they don't work, or they're trying to inject like, I don't know, microchips into our bloodstream or fucking whatever. But with that, it's like, okay, why wouldn't Pfizer and Moderna, if that's their goal, have distributed the vaccine worldwide then? Because they were very stingy with the patents. They did not want anyone to get access to their vaccines for free or anything like that.
Absolutely
So if their goal was to harm as many people as possible, then that's not really what they did. Because the federal government bought them, and they made other governments buy them, which is why it was so slow.
They harmed them in other ways by making other people die when they didn't need to because they wouldn't release the fucking patent.
And it's like, if the complaint is, well, our pharmaceutical industry and our government officials make tons of money off of each other, it's like, okay, yeah, you don't want to do anything about that, though.
And it's like, I don't know, shit like this from conservatives is something we'd seen throughout the whole entire pandemic, and it's especially disgusting because COVID, a lot of people who get COVID, it's uncontroversial to say that a lot of people who get COVID have very mild COVID. It like for me, I was down for a couple days.
It was tough,
and I felt like shit for those couple of days, but I wasn't. It wasn't anything crazy. I didn't need to go to the hospital. I knew I was going to be okay by the end of it. And that is the case for the overwhelming majority of people. So it's easy intuitively to see like, oh, I'm just going to be down for a couple of days. And then if you're plugged into conservative media, if you're chronically online on conservative media, all you are seeing is information rallying against the vaccine, talking about myocarditis within the vaccine, not presenting the full picture of the risk profile, the risk reward versus the vaccine and getting the virus. And you're going to think that like, oh, I'd rather just take my chances with the regular virus. And then you're going to see that, and then it naturally leads you to think that these vaccine mandates are unethical, for lack of a better term, because that's the logical extent of how you think, how you've been brought up to think, because it's intuitive to think these things. And that's why it's so disgusting that conservatives are taking advantage of that.
Well, yeah, and we've been saying for a long time that conservatives like Ron DeSantis and people in the media, we're just killing people. I mean, they just let 1 million people die. You know what I mean?
Like they let a 9/11 every day happen.
And then they had the audacity to complain that we still had, I guess, over a year ago now, maybe at this point, we still had mask requirements and vaccine requirements. It's like, yeah, that's your fault. Like, you're the one that's not letting us get out of this. You're causing it yourself and then complaining about it like, you know, we're somehow enforcing some crazy totalitarian government upon your life. Like, no, just you got to protect yourself and others, because protecting yourself in this instance is protecting other people.
Yes.
So that's on you, big dog.
And they just don't fundamentally understand the science. It's either they don't understand the science, or what I'm willing to bet, no, they don't understand it. They definitely don't. But I'm also willing to bet that even more so, they don't care to understand the science, and they mostly just care to take advantage of these things. Like, another thing they cited within the petition was how leading scientists changed their positions on herd immunity. They changed their position on whether or not we could achieve herd immunity against COVID for a variety of different factors. One, the virus was mutating, like, pretty quickly. And two, motherfuckers were not getting their vaccines. To have herd immunity, you need a substantial portion of the population to be vaccinated. You can't do that when a substantial portion of the population refuses to get vaccinated.
Because of you.
Because of your rhetoric. I hate them. Brown is in. I hate him.
They definitely don't make any effort to try to understand COVID or really anything scientific or empirical. They don't care about empiricism, especially because it doesn't matter. Like, if they have the opportunity to do some populist messaging, like shitting on the healthcare industry, everyone likes to do that. If they can do that and get away with it and get some political points for it, they're going to do it.
Exactly.
But of course,
they'll keep their power.
They're not genuine. They don't actually care about that, and they certainly don't care about the science, because they don't have to. They're just getting, I don't know, votes, or, you know, Ron DeSantis is gearing up for a presidential run.
Their egos at the very worst.
Safe to say that they are not good faith actors.
Not good faith actors. Fuck that guy. Hot take.
And you may have the chance to vote for him as worst person. Who knows?
True.
Worst person in 2022 coming up on the agenda. I mean,
when you go to our link tree, not on Twitter, but on our other social media platforms, and you go to the Google form to vote for who the worst person in 2022 was, keep that in mind.
I wish Elon Musk would have banned us.
Oh my God, dude, that'd have been so funny. That'd have been so funny.
Imagine if we acted like the quartering acted, Doug. That'd be crazy. Like,
who do we even act like that to?
I don't really. I was trying to think. I don't really know who would act like that to. Maybe when, like, Elon Musk was going to buy Twitter, and we would tweet at whoever the CEO was, like, "No, please don't step down.
Please don't let him go. Please, I love Twitter so much."
Unironically, they are the crying lib. You know what I mean? Like, they're the crying lib now.
Like, that's embarrassing for a guy that talks about, like, traditional masculinity. I don't know, dog. It's looking a little sus.
Begging another man to stay in a position of power.
Oh, God.
Kind of weird.
Wow, you want another man to stay in a position of power over you? That's a little fucking sus.
It's kind of sus.
That's kind of fucking gay.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
I don't know about this one, quartering.
Anyway, bring us to the end of the episode?
Absolutely.
I think that brings us to the end, everyone. Thank you all for listening to the show. Before we go, though, I'm going to remind you all.
Brings us to a beautiful list.
Go check out the Patreon, and you could join this list of elite donors. Exactly. We're the quartering to them. Please don't leave. Please don't leave me. So special thanks to Cricket Scrapbook Layouts, Nikki Nine Lives, Kaden Kraut, Lord T, Chris the Postman, Christy Beck, Talia Katz, 40% Spite, Andrew Harris, Mike Chaplinsky, Mattias T, The B Plot, Omar Zuno, Clayton LaFed, Mark Yeager, Sarah McRoberts, Derek Messina, Dylan B, Kaz, Caleb Joy, Jim Bobs, Carl D, Rich Toro Tari, Gavin Meyer Maldonado, Hunter W, Fergalaki, Max Vasquez, Jacob Rogers, Colton Mooberry, Fixer Punk, Jim Egbers, Jeff Muzzy, Ted Cruz's Boy Toy, Bagel Burrito, Cincy Alex Bread, Joe Stenstrom, Adrian Sandoval, Chloe Sam 601, Judah Marshall, and my mom. Thank you all so much for supporting the show on Patreon. Absolutely. We're excited to see you all next week for the HITO award show.
Bring your best clothes.
Bring your best clothes, because
we may not be a little dressed up.
Who knows? Maybe we'll be stunting on him a little bit.
It's an occasion. Might have to pop some bottles.
Might have to just show you all what's up.
Exactly. And, you already know. Make sure to get your name on that list so that we can get some trump cards.
Oh yeah.
And then not inevitably, I hope not inevitably, but when he runs in 2024.
Oh, yeah. Well, and he's announced.
Wins the nomination and wins the presidency, we can flip him for some buku bucks.
That'd be crazy.
And then we can also flip our opinions and hop on the Trump train.
Oh, yeah, no, we'd be gone.
Ride that bandwagon. And then I'll be with Steven Crowder and not Gay Jared and the one guy who's like a quarter black on Steven Crowder's show.
I mean, look. If we make more money with Trump NFTs than we do being socialist podcasters, then we're just going where the money tells us.
The
That's
money
the free market.
go where I go. You know, in the words of Key Glock or Hood Rich Pablo, the money go where I go.
You can't complain.
Exactly.
I'm not accepting complaints at this time. Sorry.
Or if you see that that should be something that would radicalize you into even further leftism, because you understand that within this system, Gage and Jeremy just needed to live.
We couldn't afford to be socialists.
Profit motive just took us there because we were faced. We had a gun to our heads.
Yeah,
the structural violence of poverty was right between my eyes. I was staring down the barrel.
We had no choice but to switch up.
Exactly.
So get to the Patreon. Long story short.
So you know exactly what to do.
Patreon.
Patreon.com/HitOnTheOffice.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Have a great week.